Yeah, so me and Matt are here. We're trying to figure out how we're going to film this video because we literally have no idea.
Oh.
It's
You gave me some notes.
I did give him some notes.
They weren't very helpful.
It's December 30th and trying to do a year-end review because there's actually quite a bit to talk about. So I started typing everything out and I've sort of gone through it, but not really because I didn't want to do anything too rehearsed. And then I sent it over to Matt and I'm like, he's pretty good at freestyling.
That's my whole channel. The freestyle channel.
So maybe we'll just go with it. So
I think we should go with it.
Yeah. So Matt's down here in Texas. Wanted to come check out the toys. We'll be doing some
toys.
Yeah. There's a few. There's a few behind us here, as I'm sure you guys have all seen. And he'll be doing some filming of his own. That'll be out in the new year. So be sure to check that out. But for now, I guess I'm just going to hand you the camera.
All right, I'm not used to using it like this. We can try. Let's see. Can't even see myself. Am I in frame here? How's this going?
Oh, yeah, you just,
all right, we're good.
Just point and shoot.
Okay. So we were freestyling here. Well, the biggest question, actually, maybe I should look at you guys on camera. Sorry for that. The biggest thing I'm wondering so far is like, double checking here. Yeah. How many cars do you really have? Because I asked you before, I thought it was like 30, but like, I don't know. There's like a bunch in here. Like,
well, yeah. So are we talking Foxbodies specific? Or are we talking cars?
that's true, because you have other types of cars.
Yeah, well, we got the non-Ford sitting right here as an example, right? So that's sort of the exception to the rule. We actually got the Lincoln hiding next door, so 65 Continental, which you guys would have seen earlier this year in my videos. And then there's everything back in Canada. So E39 M5 is up there. Got the SN95 Jelly Bean car.
Yep. You got the Lightning outside. I don't know if you mentioned that.
Yeah, the Lightning's outside. So
yeah.
I can tell you this. I have purchased what I believe is 16 cars in 2021.
16. You sure 16. It's not 17? Because my notes say 17.
It might be 17. I might have just acquired something. In fact, I'm working out a deal that if it goes through in the next, what do we got left? 36 hours of 2021. Maybe I'll hit 18.
Man, cutting it close here, coming down the wire. But was this video going up before New Year's? When is this going up? They know right now. I don't know, but
I'm gonna try and get it out tomorrow.
Okay, so it'll be up before. So
I don't know.
Before 2022, we'll see. Yeah, depends on how I film. But yeah, so this is your year in review video.
Yeah.
How many cars do you have? I don't really know. Purchased 17. Kind of like, I guess, run us through. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Let's run us through what you bought this year and kind of what you did. Kind of give us a recap of your 2021.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll just start right here because this 86 was a cherry find. You guys saw the story on this one. Friend of a friend at work was talking about my YouTube channel, and he reached out to me, original one owner car. So this one was this year. The Cali Coupe was very, very early on, and we've been negotiating back and forth for a long time on this car, and all of these cars actually, I think every one of them has its own feature video. So you guys are more than able to roll back through the channel and check everything out. So
do you have a playlist? Like some you've done a little more, like I think Lemon Drop. I know it's not in here, but that was one you did.
So projects have specific playlists, and anything else would just be the season 4 of the infamous project would encapsulate everything that was purchased and gone through this year. Stock Avert, I've had this thing forever, so we don't really need to talk about it. This car is kind of new, and I just put the video up, and it's all stripped down in this guy, twin turbo, coyote swap notch.
Ooh.
So
we might have to move up to the front here for that.
Yeah. So it's kind of a build that never got finished. So mechanically, electronically, everything is pretty much in place.
It's a nice coyote. Twin turbo.
So I found the car right at the end of my trip to Texas earlier this year, and it was just one of those deals that you'd be foolish to pass up. And anybody would have been happy to take a white coyote swap notch with twin hair dryers on it for the price. So this guy's getting stripped down. It's going to go to paint, and it's going to get all my OCD on it. So everything from the trim, full paint, like I said, headlights, taillights, different wheels, suspension setup, and the whole interior is going to be done. So that's it's going to be a pretty cool project for 2022. So be sure to check that one out.
Yeah, it looks like it can use some interior. So yeah, this one's going to move, I think.
Yeah, it'll move. It's going to roast the tires because it's not going to stay on the drag slicks.
Okay.
The whole drag drag race thing, that's going to go. So it's going to be more of a crazy street car that is not going to hook up. It's not going to perform, but it's going to be badass.
You know, one thing I think that we forgot to mention is 2021 in general. Wasn't this kind of a different year for you as far as you had some goals at the start of the year, and that's why you bought these 17 cars, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how's that going? Yeah, tell us about those a little bit.
So the intent was to be down here in Texas at the end of 2020, but with COVID and everything else, it made it almost near impossible. Borders were closed. I was buying all of these cars pretty much sight unseen, based on pictures, videos, anything else. All very positive experiences, other than the one back in Canada, the 4-to-8 swap. We can get into that later. But other than that, kind of stockpiling some projects, some inventory and everything else, because I am setting up shop down here. So we got the infamous Project LLC, and just looking at some commercial space because I don't want to dirty everything here. This is kind of my personal relaxation spot / collection. And yeah, I'm excited because everybody asks, are you taking customer cars? And the answer to that is yes. In 2022, I will be taking customer cars. So,
but not all, it sounds like, not all necessarily here, right? You're gonna have some other space. And
yeah, absolutely. And the intent is to be able to come and go back and forth between Canada and here. So for my friends north of the border, if you guys need nice, clean stuff from down south, I can help that happen. And surprisingly enough, there's some really clean Foxes up north of the border that can come down. For instance, the boosted 92 black notch I picked up earlier this year, super clean car, rust-free, had a little bit of history, but what do you want? Black on black notch with with an S trim, and that ended up going to Georgia, and the guy's super happy with it. So that was, again, one of the ones that was on the list this year.
Okay, so 2022 is kind of like going to be the full version of it. You tried it in 2020, you did like a halfway version in 2021, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, doing what I could with what I had, working out of my friend's shop up in Canada, and it worked out quite well. So it was kind of like the process of going through, is this going to work? Now it's just a matter of transplanting everything that I've done up there down here. So far, so good.
Awesome. All right. Well, this car too, you've had for a long time. This is your strawberry Dutch, right?
Yeah. So this car 6 years ago, maybe now, and you guys might have seen it, Foxtoberfest 2018. I had both these cars there.
That is where I saw it. Yeah.
And this year it stayed behind, and I just sent the silver Dutch Coupe, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with.
I'm a little familiar with this one. Yeah, you sent it to some guy in North Carolina. Tried to take care of it. I think he almost broke it going to his driveway. Maybe.
Yeah, I think he almost broke his neck trying to get in and out of it.
Yeah, that happened too. But but anyway, I digress. See, this is what happens when I'm in charge. You didn't buy this one or this one in 2021. We were supposed to talk about 2021.
Yes.
So got this one in 2021.
Yep.
The Cobra over there, is that 2021 purchase or no?
Yeah, so very early 2021. This and my '89 GT parts car. That is outside because it's a parts car. They came together. So this is former race car. It's got a tubular K-member, everything else.
Oh yeah, let's pop the hood real quick on this one. And again, you have details on these on your videos.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
This is a recap for people. Maybe they're new, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe they are new.
Yeah.
So had a built 408 in it, braided fuel lines are run, just your normal race car from back in the day. Thankfully, it wasn't caged. And thankfully, they didn't shave the engine bay.
Yeah.
So at least it's not too hacked.
No.
It does.
Over here is a little rough spot, but I mean, you've repaired worse things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
And this is actually an original proper 93 Cobra motor that has similar miles to the body of the car that was acquired. And I have the transmission. I have everything to put the car back together. It's just a matter of time. So I'll be getting
always.
Yeah, absolutely. I can split myself 100 ways. It's fun. So yeah, no, I'm really excited for this one. Everybody, any true Mustang Foxbody enthusiast wants a 93 Cobra. I have my 18-inch reimagined Cobra wheels on the way from Maker's Garage.
Maker's Garage. That's right, boys. They're coming.
So out with the 17s. And
I'm
in with
super
the 18.
jealous. I'm telling you, it's like 93 cover here, and then he rubs it in. He's like, I got the Maker's Garage too. I got to go back to North Carolina after this. Anyway, this is your video, so let's keep going, I guess.
So I guess really it's just the Calypso in terms of what's here. And
oh yeah, was this a pickup in 2021 as well, right?
yeah, it was. We did the deal late 2020, but I took delivery January 2021.
Okay.
So originally a Canadian car, and a lot of people have asked me about this. The Calypso being a rare color and quite popular, especially this one has original black interior in it, but this guy is actually spoken for. So yeah,
so I can't buy it. That's what you're telling me, Chris.
No, lots of people were inquiring about it. So you guys are going to see what's going to happen to this car. I'm not going to give it away, but it's not going to stay this way. Yeah. That's all I can say. And the car's actually going far away.
You know, he gave me a little inside info. You guys better stay tuned. I'm pretty excited about this one. So subscribe if you haven't. What are you doing? You got to subscribe.
Cool. And I think, you know, other than that, we got some work in the Lightning done. So we've worked on a lot of projects. So I think we could talk about some of the cars that are actually still in Canada. And then maybe get into a few projects, as I know everybody always asks me questions about what happened to a few of the cars that you guys saw in 2020 and 2021. So,
yeah, let's do that. Let's talk about some of the projects you did this last year, and then we can get to questions. And also, don't know how I'm holding the camera so far, so maybe I'll hand it back to you so you can talk about the projects, and then they can compare. All right, what about the 4 to 8 conversion? I know that one was a lot of fun.
All right, so when we talk about surprises and getting a Foxbody with expectations, and then those expectations aren't met, the donor car for the 4 to 8 project was short of a nightmare. So we did get the 91 year specific engine harness, which was critical to make sure that everything from a wiring perspective, all the gauge cluster, and all of the wiring lined up, so that way it's plug and play. So no pinning, no chasing down wires, any of that stuff. And it was a real nice swap. Super cool story. That 4-cylinder was in the family since new, if I remember correctly, and everything was swapped over. So it wasn't, the only thing that gives that car away is the steering wheel, and he didn't want to touch the steering wheel, but the cluster was done, the rear end was done, your brake booster, the brakes, anything that should have been proper 5.0 is now 5.0 in that car.
Awesome, awesome. And the next one I got to do in front of a black car because you love black cars. So Project Tax Return. This is actually one of the first videos I found on your channel, believe it or not. I just found his channel last year, guys, don't kill me. Well, actually I knew about your channel before, but I just finally started watching. Right. So anyway, like, who is this guy? Anyway, Project Tax Return.
Black cars. Actually, this car hasn't given me too many troubles. Maybe I'll have a little bit of the stock revert in the back because this car, it's a love-hate relationship. It's sort of like there's always something wrong with the car, but it never dies. It just keeps going. It fights you. Funny enough, it has the same power steering issue that somebody else just had recently. So my power steering kicks on and off because my automotive curator, there was a leak, same thing. And
it's a supercharger.
Yeah. And he ended up swapping the pump, but he put the wrong fluid in. So sometimes the pump kicks in and out. But anyways, that's a different story. So Project Tax Return was my nemesis. And if you guys didn't see that project, it was a massive undertaking because that was a race car that was pretty much converted back to stock. So it had a standalone wiring setup in it. It had full tubular K-member. It had a built rear end with anti-roll bars and everything else. All that stuff came out. The car was cleaned up. The nice thing about it, the body and paint was fully done. So again, body and paint, for anybody looking for a Fox, that is a critical component when you are factoring in how much you're willing to pay. So that car, despite being really clean and having all the parts and everything going smoothly, I went through 3 motors and it was a little bit of a nightmare. So if you guys are curious on that one, you aren't gonna wanna miss a recap on that. So there is a playlist on Project Tax Return, 3 motors, a lot of headaches, and thankfully the buyer was super cool and it was actually for his wife. And she loves the car, she's super happy. and I couldn't be happier in the end about it. It's one of those ones you go through, it's like your worst nightmare, but once you've gone through it and you've overcome that challenge and that project, it almost makes anything else seem that much easier. So it's sort of like nothing could be worse than that tax return project.
That's why I picked that one. All right, for the next project one, we've got Project Lemon Dropped. Sorry, I'm a Beastie Boys fan. Anyway, there you go, Lemon Dropped.
All right, actually, you can just hold that one out.
All right.
So Lemon Dropped, definitely that is an infamous project build. And I love yellow. I do love convertibles. They get a lot of hate out there, but
It's a feature car, right? Isn't it?
it is a feature car. And some people probably a little pissed off that I'm modifying a feature car to the extent that I am. But the
You know what?
reality
No, I
is-
got to interrupt you there because you know what? If they are, which you probably are, convertibles are hated anyway.
Yeah, true. It's
So-
just a convertible.
Yeah, so just think of it as a convertible.
So the reality is car, super high miles, very well together, really nice interior, but high miles, some corrosion, some Canadian winters that it's seen. So there's some cutting, patching, repairing, all those things that need to happen, but it's an opportunity at the same time. So I'm saving the car. It's gonna stay yellow, a different yellow, and it'll be slammed down on the ground, hence the name Lemon Dropped. So be sure to stay tuned for that one. It is still at the body shop. I do have a couple of surprises on that one. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for a Dutch Vert because I got my Dutch Coupe, I got my Dutch Hatch.
Yep.
We don't have a Dutch Vert. So
You have everything then.
yeah, that'll be it. I'll tick them all off.
Very cool. The next one's the vet. Should we go in and say around the Lincoln
yeah,
on that?
yeah.
I think we should. All right. For the next project update, I think it's appropriate to say it right here in front of the Lincoln because this is a different car.
Yeah.
You got another classic. One of my favorite cars of the channel, actually. I think other than, you know, your Dutches, this is my favorite. 58 Corvette. What's going on with that?
So Dad's car, and you know what? It didn't get too many views. Maybe because it's not a Foxbody and you guys really are loyal to Ford stuff, but you have to appreciate a 58 Corvette.
Right.
So my dad has had that since the 70s and it's been a long journey and I'm really, really excited to have him behind the wheel of that. I think the car will actually end up down here in Texas so he can escape from the winter, top down, and enjoy it. So spent some time with him and went through the nitty gritty. Like that is a serious undertaking. Thankfully, old cars seem to have less parts. They were somewhat more simple in terms of the way that they were made, but very challenging. If you're trying to get involved with window regulators and everything else, if you haven't taken them apart and then somebody else bagged, thankfully they bagged and tagged, but you're still going through and are you trying to change hardware? And unfortunately, we were missing a couple critical components for the wiring and ended up ordering a wiring harness and a couple other things from Corvette of America. So all of those parts have come in. And I'm hoping that Dale will hopefully wrap up a couple things mechanically and the brakes over the winter time. And then we're going to see about just kind of sending the car and what's left to assemble, you know, interior wise, button up the body harness, the lights, all of that stuff, and hopefully have them on the road.
Is that in 2022, you think that'll happen?
I want it to be 2022.
Yeah.
And my dad's he's mid 70s now. So got to, it's a priority. Family first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I got my dad's 69 F100 that's also going to be resurrected this year, so I kind of get it.
Godzilla in it?
No, the motors. We'll see. Stay tuned. Oh, you're tempting me. I gotta tell you. All right, next one. Let's see. All right, what was the next one? We gotta go back inside anyway. Oh yeah, the 86 notch. Moving him around a lot. You getting your exercise today, Chris?
Okay, get my steps.
So next update we want to hear on, Chris, is the 86 notch you picked up. What's going on with that project? There you go.
I'm thirsty. And I stopped at Infamous Brewery yesterday. So what is more suiting than being in the same state as Infamous Brewery? So they actually hooked me up a bit yesterday. Got a cooler full of beer and everything else, and it's actually good beer. There's Miller Lite hiding in the koozie right now.
We'll ignore that.
So yeah, 86 notch. Again, super excited. The 86 notch is tied to the Calypso car. So here's a hint.
Okay, and I'm gonna fix you better lighting. We have to reverse.
Okay. So if you guys want a hint of what might happen with the Calypso, so the Calypso and the 86 are related in terms of some parts. So I'm gonna leave it there, but
That's a good hint.
yeah, it is a pretty good hint. So the car is at Spike's Refinishing in Ocala, Florida. Spike knows his stuff. He's been in SEMA, he's been on TV, near kind of American hot rod muscle car shows, and the guy's like perfectionist and Foxbody enthusiast. So there's a little tip for you guys. If you guys are looking to get your Foxbodies painted, it's always important to get a painter that knows Foxbodies. So that way the right things are coming off, things are getting prepped properly, they know where the trouble areas are, which is super important this day and age. So that is a 2022 for sure, and it'll be, that one's gonna piss some people off too. We'll just put it that way.
Maybe we should go by your
So
strawberry.
going back to the LX hatches that I kept saying to everybody that on my one video, the next investment car, I said that the LX hatches aren't worth anything. Well, I didn't say it in those words, but I think that's how people took it. And well, I actually own 2 LX hatches. One is here, and the other one's Dutch number 5. So the interesting thing about the LX hatch is that aside from the coupe, it was the non-GT, the stripped down GT, but the cheaper version. And that's why we saw Dutch use the LX hatch. That's why we saw Celine use the LX hatch. There's very few Celine coupes. There's very few Dutch coupes. So with that said, I'm not hating on an LX hatch because I have a few myself. And the Dutch number 5 car is almost like an emotional project to me, just because I managed to meet and engage with Derek Hansen, who has recently passed, and get his acceptance or his willingness to allow me to kind of carry out and promote the name. And if you guys don't know the Dutch story, it's kind of a sad one, but it's an amazing story at the same time. So for any Foxbody enthusiasts out there, for anybody who's saying, oh, I'm hating on body kits or whatever else, do your research. If you can't find much on the Dutch website or you want to know more, I'm hoping to do the Dutch documentary next year. So that's my big, I guess, my goal, one of my main goals. So aside from like the 58 Corvette and, you know, some other things that, what am I trying to say?
Yeah, you got a lot going on.
I got a lot going on. So, you know, let's just say the 93 Cobra might take the seat on the bench,
Yeah.
you know, in order for me to get the Dutch documentary.
I think the Dutch documentary, yeah, like I just found out about it in the last couple months. You brought the coupe to my place, and I think that story, it's an important story.
No, absolutely.
So, yeah.
No, it's super cool.
I'm excited about that. Yeah.
So yeah, number 5 car is pretty much done. There's just a few little button-up items. I got to get the gauges. They're installed, but I got to get the sending units hooked up. The Dutch conies have arrived from Holland. So because Dutch actually had their own valving done by Coney to match up with their spring rates. So I have a full set of yellows that need to go in the car, and I actually have a newer set of springs that I'm going to put in it. And that's pretty much going to be it. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that you might actually be able to see that car at the Mustang Owners Museum next year.
Oh, that would be, okay.
So I'm working on that one.
You can do podcasts from the car.
Exactly. So if I can get everything buttoned up and I can get the car back down to if I can get the car to North Carolina, then I might be fortunate enough to have the car there on display so everybody can see it. And which means, because we have our pact about how many cars I'll have at Foxtoberfest next year.
Yeah.
So I'll already have one there and ready.
Is this the 2000 Lightning, or is that another Lightning?
That is the 2000
Yeah,
Lightning.
so you're doing more to this because you just got it going this year.
I did just finally get it going. It's lurking out there, and it can stay out there because it's pretty. It's pretty on camera. It's pretty from afar. But that guy's, he's a driver, you know? I drive it every day, put stuff in the back, put a trailer on it, everything that, you know, it's a shop truck. Call it the, what's that, Racer's Edge?
I don't know. It's
what was it, Fast and Furious?
Yeah, it was a Racer's Edge. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
There you go. My tribute to Paul Walker, Racer's Edge. Use it as a shop.
You know what you need to do though, guys? He's got to get like all the parts like way up, like strapped down, you know, and delivering your parts for your projects.
Absolutely.
So we got to see that.
Yeah. So yeah, we got that one done, and
I think the other one is the burnt vert.
oh yes. Okay. So yeah, there's a couple cars. People have been asking me, what happened to them? Where did they go? Burnt vert was definitely one of them. So the owner has taken the car back. He's got it in storage. He is adamant that he's fixing the car. He just has to get approval from the boss, the better half.
I think I know about that. Yeah, I know I'm in trouble there. But anyway, let's not focus too much on that. But yeah, so that, okay, that's cool, because I remember that was a neat project.
Yeah, and the car's so clean. And it would honestly be quite unfortunate if the car didn't get put back together. I know it's just a convertible, but convertibles deserve a second chance.
They need love too.
Yeah, they need love too. So, you know, and the car is running and driving now. So it's really just interior, new top frame. Most of the paint can be buffed. It's really just paint the hood, paint the trunk lid, and that thing's good to go again.
Well, the next one that people sometimes have questions about, I think we made it through all your projects, but like, checking my notes here, Super Noof. I don't remember this one. I'm sorry, I don't remember, Chris.
So the Super Noof was the car that I found in a barn that was in storage for a couple of years. The gentleman had passed away and the widow had the car. And it's actually the car that I randomly found when I went to go see the Burnt Vert project. Because the gentleman had reached out to me, said my car caught fire. It's stored out here at my friend's place. So while I was going over his car, that's how I found the Super Noof. It was hiding under a cover because the guy there was like, oh, there's another Foxbody over there. So completely random find, got in touch with the widow, got the car, and I actually got some interesting feedback on that car in terms of the comments, because there was people that knew the previous owner.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I think some of them wish they had got the car, or they thought maybe I wasn't deserving of it because I didn't know him, but I ended up with this car. So that one, funny enough, so I made a video a while ago. One of my friends, Andrew, he has a Project Foxbody that needs a lot, and his favorite color is actually a black cherry, or the house of color is Brandywine. It's like a maroon, same color the Super Noof is, or very close.
I love that Brandywine, yeah.
Yeah, and as soon as my friend Andrew saw that car, it was like, what are you doing with it? I want it. And it's one of those guys that you've known forever, one of the most genuine people you'll ever meet, will help you any way he can, in a tough time, whatever you need to do, or whatever you need help with. And he's helped me out with storage and lots of things over the years. So we actually made a deal. And, you know, I wasn't trying to make a whole ton of money on it. I could have easily, but I felt that for the spirit and the essence of the car, it was just like a really good fit.
Oh,
so I'm happy
cool
that I've helped him out. He's actually going through a 5-bolt conversion, rear disc brakes in the rear. If you guys remember, the frame rail on the driver's side was actually pretty punky, so he's actually going to be replacing that. And, well, he's from Canada and he's a Dutch lover, so the car's going to see a Dutch kit.
Yes. All right. Now I'm more excited about it. I want to have one of those, but anyway, I think I can say that on your channel. They're probably more accepting of Dutch on your channel than mine. But anyway, then we got another one. You have actually an SN95, which I know is a dirty word apparently around Foxbody people, but it is a Mustang.
It is a Mustang.
Yeah.
I've never personally been a fan of the SN95s. I've never been a fan of green cars either. So to end up with a jelly bean that's green is sort of going against all of my principles as a Mustang owner. But with that said, it's a real Dutch car. And the most amazing thing is a couple weeks ago, I was in touch with the owner who owned it. And if you guys didn't see the video about the owner that I bought the car off of, you guys should probably watch that video because it's really funny. He was an interesting cat.
Oh, I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Very interesting cat. So the guy that he had bought it off of had reached out to me, and he was the one who had bought it off the original owner. And he told me it's a numbered car. And the original owner kept the plaque as a souvenir and he wouldn't let it go. So I'm actually that much more excited about it. Dutch didn't do the greatest job at numbering all their cars because sometimes the cars were brought to them, they went through a whole bunch of work and they just didn't do documentation. They were too busy doing performance. They didn't care about, maybe this car will be worth something someday. I'm gonna put a serial number on it. But it has a number. I'm just trying to find out what that number is. And you know what? In 5 years, when all of a sudden SN95s become cool and all the Cobras and Celines and specialty SN95s have all skyrocketed in value, maybe not skyrocketed, maybe not like the Foxbody, but they are going to go up. Naturally, they will. then maybe I'll pull it out and go through it a little bit more.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I kind of agree with you a little bit. I think now is the time if you want to get a 94, 95 Cobra. Last year, the push rod. First year, that's a 95.
Yeah.
I'd say jump on it now.
Unfortunately, mine's the 4.6.
Speaking of green cars, and that's another one, you get dark emerald green. I know that's not this one, but what's the dark emerald green car?
Well, dark emerald green car, because I actually owned a reef car this year as well.
Yeah.
And I bought the reef car very quickly. The reef car sold and actually was traded plus cash. That's how I ended up with the dark emerald green. And that one had some surprises in it. That one didn't meet expectations, but the guy I got off of was super cool. And you know, we made everything work in the end. We've done some business a number of times now. He actually, here's how cool some people are. Before we did that deal, he was building a Calypso car, and he put, I think, a GT500 motor in it, so the stock drivetrain came out. He actually gave me this original low mile motor that you saw going to tax return. Like, gave it. He stuck it on a skid and he shipped it to me, and he's just like, man,
make up.
I know, well, it was before. He was just like, dude, I'm gonna help you out. I know we're gonna do business in the future. The community is small, and especially in Canada, it's that much smaller. So when you have an enthusiast that has as many cars as he does, and as many cars that I do, you know you're gonna end up doing business together. So it was an amazing thing. So that instantly, when the green car thing happened, I was just sort of like, I already owe him. You know what I mean? So it's funny how things work out like that. So the green car, it got fixed, it got sold, it's gone. It wasn't a hard car to get rid of because it was a really clean, tidy notch in the end. It had the, you know, unfortunately the floor pan issue, but we fixed that up.
Yeah, I saw you fix that one.
Yeah.
No problem. So, yeah. So you get, what are the other ones you had?
Yeah. So there was a few cars that came in that were customer cars, not my cars. So, you know, we saw the 86 GT that wouldn't run. We saw the Crafty Customs carbon fiber, everything black notch. We saw the theft recovery car that was what we actually found out to be a Dutch car, which was actually a super cool story. And there was a number of cars that actually came into the shop, and I promised the individual I would shout him out. Joey Boost. If you guys don't know who Joey Boost is, you need to look him up. He is your elite Foxbody specialist. This is probably the best way to put it. This guy had $30,000 Foxes when we were all paying $3,000 for them. So,
wow,
amazing guy. We actually have amazing conversation. And he sent me a couple cars this year, and he wouldn't let me film any of them. So
now, don't you love that? Like, you know, as a content creator, I love it. When I see awesome Foxbody, I can't put it on video. It's exciting, you know? No,
I do
it's
have
the
some
opposite.
footage. And you know what? The first car, he's like, you can't film it. And I said, okay, and I didn't use the camera. And the worst part was, I could have filmed it in the end. And so the next car, I started doing some filming because he told me I could. And then he reneged on it, and I get it. Some of the cars that he gets, because they're so clean, or because it's a special arrangement, because sometimes people don't want other people knowing where the cars went. And especially when we're talking Foxbodies that are north of $30,000, people are a little bit more private about their lives and about what they have, and they don't want all of the banter. You don't see these cars on Marketplace for sale. They're not posted, you know, so this is sort of like through the network. Some of these cars, they get around, and so I guess it explains it to a certain degree. But yeah, Joey, I could have had some amazing content. I'm just saying it right now. So I'm sorry, guys. Hopefully we'll do better. Maybe it'll be the disclaimer. You can't bring your car to me unless it can be on camera.
Well, it depends on the job. I'm sure you take another good job. Yeah. So, all right. Well, what else? Like, you got all these cars in here. We talked about what you did in 2021, a little bit of 2022, but is there anything else like in 2022 you're planning? So 2022, I got to sort of reevaluate the whole YouTube thing. And I think to throw it back out to you guys, if you guys are watching this long, then it means you guys are pretty loyal and have followed me long enough. So I value that. And most importantly, I value your feedback and your thoughts. So 2 videos a week, pretty hectic. I'm trying to do a lot and get a lot done. And it's really hard to hold the camera. And is that why you have me?
Yeah.
That's why he has me here today.
For anybody who thinks that us YouTubers are making all this money through our channels, yeah, you might want to.
It's work. It's a job. And I do this for fun.
It's not work. Sorry. For the money that you make off YouTube,
It's not worth the money.
it's not worth the money. Now, obviously, I have the benefits of you guys, potential customers, potential cars coming to me, just getting the information and the knowledge out there, which I think is really important, and helping people out. Social responsibility, if you will.
Yeah. For me, it's more the fun, right? It's a hobby. That's why I do it. So it's like, if you have a hobby, most hobbies cost money. My hobby still costs money, but I get a little rebate.
Absolutely. So I might go down to 1 video a week. We'll see how I do. I might mix up the schedule. We'll see. That's for you guys to give some of your feedback. I am going to be starting a podcast in the new year, and that is actually going to be with Casual Customs. So Gary and other fellow Canadians. It'll be the 2 Canadians, the one who left Canada and the one who's still up in Canada. And we're going to have some pretty cool topics for everybody to participate in or just listen to on your drive to work, or maybe your wife's watching The Bachelor or significant other and you want to be listening to the podcast, well, maybe not paying attention to something else, whatever it is. It'll be a good conversation. It'll be not very structured. It's just going to be on opinions, thoughts. We'll have some guests on there, and most importantly, we'll be looking for a lot of your, I guess, ideas and whatever else that you guys want to hear from in there. So that kind of takes care of things from a content perspective. Projects, there's lots in the pipeline. There'll be a lot of cars for sale. I'm going to be looking for a lot of cars. If you guys got stuff out there, let me know. There is something pretty cool in the pipeline. We'll just call it Godzilla. And there'll be more to come in terms of that. And what else do I got coming in the pipeline here?
Fresh coat or no?
That's all right. So we had a camera overheating issue, so we can wrap the video up.
Stuff breaks when gearheads are
Yeah,
out.
we were somewhere around here.
Yeah.
And we were just literally wrapping up the video.
Yeah, I think I remember. I want to try to pretend like I remember. So 2022, you got a lot of projects. You got the Dutch documentary.
We got a shop opening up.
Yep, shop
customer
opening up.
cars.
You're going down to once a week, but you do have a podcast coming, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And so one of the things that I think you wanted to ask them is if they have any feedback for you on projects or anything like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So is there anything that you guys want to see? What's your opinion on the content? Keep going. You don't care. If you're watching, you probably care. But I do value all the feedback. I do try and respond to everybody as much as I can, whether it's through YouTube or through Instagram. So any way that I can help or put out more knowledge for you guys, I try and do as much hands-on stuff as I can. And I know my videos capture a lot. So, the coyote video, I know I probably could have done 3 different videos on that.
Yeah.
You guys probably weren't expecting to get a whole body panel alignment video out of that one, but that just goes to show that there's so much content to possibly make and so much to learn about.
They're action-packed, Chris.
Yeah.
Like, you never know what you're going to get in a tip video. You might end up with a gearhead 704 in here.
Absolutely.
I'm not a real gearhead, but I try.
So, yeah, guys, I guess that's about it for 2021. I thank you for all your support and have met some amazing people this year, whether it's been some of you guys who support me virtually through the channel or fellow influencers.
Well, and you met a lot of people at Foxtoberfest too.
Yeah,
like you had a lot of people come up to you.
Yeah,
They're very excited.
no, absolutely. And that's one thing that I do want to say. I think some people may be a little intimidated or shy to come up to this. I actually was talking to a gentleman here who actually just moved from Florida to Texas. He had a couple notchbacks that he wanted me to look at. And he actually asked me, he's like, oh, you must get a lot of people come up to you. And I do, but I do feel like there's some people that are a little...
I agree with you. Some people feel intimidated, but we like that, right?
Yeah, no,
I like it.
Yeah, we're just normal guys who like Foxbodies. So by all means, like, I know the keyboard is easier to type because a lot of you guys will be like, oh yeah, no, I'm so-and-so on YouTube, and I might not remember what your username is or anything like that. I might remember your car, but I think that's important. Never be shy, guys. We're all approachable. And whether it's me, Gearhead, Gary, who's Kazel, Kenneth from Blue Oval Media, Danny, Neo Mustangs, we all get along. So we're brutal. So, anything that you guys have, if one of us can't answer it, the other will be able to.
Absolutely. And if I can't answer it, they won't be surprised. Well, awesome. I'm going to pass it off to this guy. You got an outro or something, right? Because I can't be like, please hit the like button and stopping for. That's my stuff. So
You just did it.
Oh, I did it.
You just did it. So there we go. I got to work on some outro, intro stuff. If there's anybody out there who's good with the video editing or wants to put some sort of thing together for me, I would be more than appreciative for that. So that's about it. Thank you guys for your support. We're going to see you in 2022.
Awesome. Subscribe to Gearhead 704.